He wasn't a conqueror. He didn't command great armies or carve his name into stone through war. He was just a child, born into chaos, crowned into confusion, and nearly lost to history. But more than 3,000 years after his death, his name would set the world on fire. When a hidden tomb was uncovered deep beneath the sands of Egypt, it wasn't just a discovery, it was a resurrection. A forgotten pharaoh, untouched by looters and time, returned to rewrite everything we thought we knew about ancient Egypt. This is the extraordinary story of Tutankhamun, the boy king who rose from obscurity to become the most iconic figure of the ancient world. The world had never heard his name before. Now it would never forget it. He wasn't a great warrior. He didn't build an empire. He was just a child. But at the age of 6, he was handed the most powerful crown on earth. In the long and powerful history of ancient Egypt, there was one boy who stood out, not because of what he accomplished in his lifetime, but because of how young he was when he rose to power. His name was Tutankhamun, and he became king at an age when most children were still learning how to read and write. Tutankhamun, often called King Tut, was born around 1341 BCE during a period of great change and turmoil in Egypt. His father, Akhenaten, had turned Egyptian religion on its head. For centuries, Egyptians had worshipped a vast collection of gods, Amun, Ra, Osiris, and many more. But Akhenaten declared that there was only one god worth worshipping, Aten, the sun disk. He shut down temples, forced people to change their religious practices, and even moved the capital city to a new location, all in an effort to reshape the country's beliefs. When Akhenaten died, Egypt was left uncertain. His religious revolution had caused confusion and unrest. And into this chaos stepped his young son, Tutankhamun, who was likely 6 to 9 years old when he was declared pharaoh. That made him one of the youngest rulers in all of history. Because of his age, Tutankhamun didn't truly rule Egypt alone. He had powerful advisors around him, especially a man named Ai and a military commander named Horemheb. These men guided the young king and helped make important decisions on his behalf. Under their leadership, one of the first major decisions was made, to reverse the religious changes made by his father. Tutankhamun's name was changed to Tutankhamun, which meant living image of Amun, a clear sign that Egypt was returning to the old gods. The capital city was moved back to Thebes, and the temples to Amun and other traditional gods were reopened. To many Egyptians, it felt like the balance was being restored, and they credited the boy king for it. Despite his royal title, Tutankhamun lived a quiet and relatively short life. He ruled for only about 9 years. He didn't build great monuments or lead powerful armies. In fact, much of what happened during his reign was controlled by others. But Egypt became more stable, and the people once again worshipped freely as they had for centuries before. Then, unexpectedly, the young king died around the age of 18 or 19. The cause of his death remains a mystery. Some scholars believe it may have been due to illness, like malaria, a bone disease, or complications from a genetic condition. Others think he may have suffered a fatal accident, perhaps from a broken leg that got infected. There are even theories of foul play, though no clear evidence points to murder. What we do know is that he was buried quickly, in a tomb that seemed far too small for a king. His burial chamber was rushed, possibly because his death came as a surprise. After his burial, his name was mostly forgotten. Later pharaohs tried to erase him from the records. Over time, his tomb was buried and completely lost to history. And that might have been the end of Tutankhamun's story, if not for what happened more than 3,000 years later. In 1922, a British archaeologist named Howard Carter made one of the most incredible discoveries in the history of archaeology. Deep in Egypt's Valley of the Kings, he uncovered the long-lost tomb of Tutankhamun. To everyone's shock, the tomb was almost completely untouched. While most royal tombs had been looted over the centuries, this one still held its original treasures, over 5,000 priceless artifacts. Among the most iconic discoveries was Tutankhamun's golden death mask, an image that has become one of the most recognized symbols of ancient Egypt around the world. The discovery sent shockwaves through the world and sparked a global obsession with Egypt's ancient past. Suddenly, the forgotten boy king became a legend. Museums displayed his treasures to millions of visitors. Historians and scientists raced to learn more about him. And thanks to modern technology, we've discovered even more. CT scans and DNA testing suggest Tutankhamun was in poor health, possibly suffering from genetic disorders. He had a cleft palate, a club foot, and likely needed help walking. Despite all this, his name lives on. Not for what he did as a ruler, but for what he left behind. His tomb gave the world an unprecedented look into ancient Egypt, how its people lived, what they believed, and how they honored their kings. Tutankhamun didn't live long. He didn't rule with force. But through the treasures buried with him, he gave us something even more powerful, a window into a lost world and a name that would never be forgotten. Thanks for watching Era Navigators, where history comes alive. If you enjoyed this journey into ancient Egypt, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the past. And let us know in the comments, what would you want to discover in a lost tomb? Until next time, keep navigating the eras.